In today's video, we're going to have a look at the museum's census records. For primary resources, researchers will have to go down to County Durham Record Office to do their searching, but the Weardale Museum has lots of digital records on its computers, and probably the most important of which are the census files. And we're going to have a look at the census file for Stanhope now. You'll see that we have a full set of census from 1841 through to 1911, and also a set of census images for the 1911 census, which I'll show you briefly. This is one of the pages from the 1911 census, the sort of thing that you would see if you were looking at the primary source, or if you went down to County Hall and you were looking at it on microfiche. They're difficult to search in this format, and you would have to go through lots of pages perhaps before you would find the information you were looking for. We have chosen to transcribe the census onto Excel sheets, and someone spent about 10 years of his life doing this from the 1841 to the 1911 census, a great deal of work. Census were taken every 10 years, starting in 1841. And they tended to get bigger each year as more questions were added into what was required of the householders. The next census, the 1921 census, will be released in January 2021. We're going to look at just one of the census for 1861. We're looking at the Excel file for the 1861 census for Stanhope Parish. Notice at the bottom left of the spreadsheet, we've got 4 tabs. At present, we're looking at the spreadsheet for what is called Forest 61, but there are also other spreadsheets for Park, Town, and Newlandside. Altogether, there are over 9,000 individuals on these 4 different sheets. The best way to explain about the 4 quarters of Stanhope Parish is just to have a look at a map. Here we see the parish set out. It's 18 miles in length, and at one time it was the largest parish in the whole country. It's divided into 4 parts, as you see. From the west, the largest part is the forest. Just to the east of that is a small area called the park, between Eastgate and Westgate. To the north, we've got a town section which includes Stanhope Town, but also Rookup. And then down to the southeast, there's the Newlandside quarter. Many people, in looking at the census records, they see that somebody was born in Stanhope, not realising that it means the parish of Stanhope and not the town of Stanhope. So the people that they're looking for could be 15 miles or so away from Stanhope Town itself. Let's look at the sheet. They're all similar, so we'll just look at the Forest quarter. And we'll look at it column by column. The first column, marked SN, this is the sheet number for the enumerator. With a parish like Stanhope, there would be lots of enumerators walking around doing different parts of the parish, and the first column sets out each of the enumerator's sheets. So his first sheet would be for hanging Wells Bishop's Seat, then he would use a new sheet for Bishop's Seat, and then he would use a new sheet when he comes to the next family, and so on. This is quite useful actually, because it means that you can follow his route as he goes around, walking from household to household. And because sometimes farms and houses change their names, or they disappear, they're pulled down, it's quite useful to try to locate them later. Second column, the address. This is the main address for the people on the census sheet. The third column tells us the number of households that are living at a given address. So for Hanging Wells Bishopsseat, there's one household, the Buxtons. For Bishopsseat, there are two households, the Fairlesses and the Goldens. The next column, column D, surname of the person, and the following column is the Christian name of the person. Sometimes a second initial is given, as well as the Christian name. Column F, RE. RE means the relationship of the person to the head of the household. So we get the head of the household, who's named first, followed by other people in the household. And in the case of Hanging Wells Bishopsseat, we've got his wife, a daughter, a son, a daughter, a son, and a lodger. And then we come on to the next household, and we've got a head, a son, a daughter, and then the next head of the household, head, wife, son, servant. B, that'll be brother, L, lodger, and so it goes on. Sometimes they're a little bit tricky to work out, but you can usually do it. You get grandson and granddaughter, niece, nephew, and so on. The next column tells us the marital status. So column G is the condition, the marital status. So it's married, unmarried, widowed or widower. The next column, the sex, so that's either female or male. The next column is age. After that, we've got occupation. And column K, place of birth. And you'll see here that it gives the name of the parish as Durham Stanhope Parish. And all of these people who live in were born in Stanhope Parish, they could have been born in other parts of the parish, the Forest or Newland side, or the park or the town area. Now we're going to have a look at these little arrows that come at the top of each of the columns. These are filters, and these are incredibly powerful when we want to search the census. So that, for instance, for addresses, if we click on the arrow, we're given a choice of all the addresses that are listed in that column, and they all have ticks beside them at the moment. If you want to search for a particular address, we need to deselect the select all, search for the address that you're looking for, let's say Greenhead, and when you press OK, this will filter out only the people who are living at that address. So Greenfield, all of these people live at Greenfield. To reset the address, we click on the filter again, go to select all and click OK, and all of the addresses are now reset so that you can do a further search. Searching is pretty useful for the addresses. You may know that you've got somebody who lived at a particular address and you're looking for them, and you can discount all of the ones who are not living at that address. Surname. Again, if we click on the filter, we've got all of the surnames that are listed. Again, deselect that, choose a surname, Dickinson. This will select all of the Dickinsons. In this case, only one Dickinson, not a very common name in our area, and she was a servant and born in Teesdale. Let's go back. We'll deselect her, and let's look for a more common name, Piet. It tells us down here that out of the 4,603 records, there are 310 Piets, and if you're looking for a Piet amongst all of these, it would be very handy to know either the Christian name or the address of the Piet that you're looking for at a particular time, because there's 300 to look through. Again, we can do a search on first names, or if you're interested in social history, you can do a search on occupation. Let's just, instead of clicking down the list here, let's just put in the word lead for lead miner or related, and up it comes with all of the possible suggestions for lead miner, lead miner's wife, lead mining clerk, lead ore miner, lead ore smelter, and so on, and you can choose from those. So the filters are really powerful. That's a brief description of the census file for Stanhope Parish in 1861. On a final note, all of our census information for both the Stanhope Parish and for Woolsingham Parish has fed into our family history maker program. So for John Pickering, if we bring up John Pickering's notes, we see that all of the census information has been gathered together. We have information from 1851, 1861, 1871, 1881, 1891, 1901, and 1911. So do check this out. It's quite an amazing set of programs, both the census information and our family history maker.